Good morning. Today is Thanksgiving, and I wanted to just let Spirit guide whatever comes through today. I know for a lot of people, Thanksgiving is not a gathering around with family or great food or feeling secure or having the ideal Norman Rockwell family as part of our life experience. But we all in our hearts over the last year have moved into a state of accelerated spiritual growth. And because of that, nothing is feeling secured, nothing is feeling the same. Nothing is feeling that we can rely upon it or stand mightily on the earth with our feet and ourself feeling in a place of material, emotional, or mental stability. When we are moving through spiritual growth, we are what I would call in a state of constant transition. So each day can feel like 5 months, 6 months, a year, and a week ago can feel like 10 years. And this growth that we're all being called upon to experience is best dealt with through softening the life, moving back into the deeper aspects of self, and listening within. I found in a lot of my readings and healings lately that people have been in some extremely raw, deep, lonely places. Personally, I too have felt that specter of loneliness or separation appear in front of me, and I feel it is related at an individual level to having to adjust to how different life is for myself right now and my experience of life. I know that as a Scorpio, excuse me, this is expected of me to continually greet the path of letting go. It has been since I was a small child. For you, I'm sure there's an element of also dealing with feelings of abandonment or loss or letting go or isolation. And you may even find with some of your family members or with friends that you've outgrown the situation. Not that you're higher or lower than the friend in your life, but it may be that both of you, it's time for you to part ways or to become friends more from a distance and to hold that friend in your heart with love and gratitude, but to realize also that the time has come to move forward. Yeah, I've decided to choose the Mother Mary Oracle cards today. They are one of my favorite decks of cards. Excuse me, I gotta run and let the dog out. Okay, darling. Out you go. Sometimes I take that as a message that I'm supposed to do the tape over again, but today I just take it as a message of flowing with whatever is. And she's a dog that knows exactly what she wants, when she wants it, and there's no arguing. So anyway, I chose the Mother Mary Oracle Guidebook by Alana Fairchild. It's one of my favorite decks. And the card that I got was the card, Our Lady Who Gives Peace. Now we may look at this card and go, oh, that means that our gift today is the gift of peace. And I just wanted to briefly read to you her message. And her cards are related to Mother Mary. I also take that, if you're not Catholic, as the Mother Earth, the mother of all of life, the essence, the creative force of feminine. Mother Mary can bring us a gift of inner peace when we approach our spiritual life in this way. It doesn't mean we don't care, that we check out of our relationships and our world. It means that we have come to a place where we are accepting the world exactly as it is. We're accepting our life for what is. And we put in our effort and we give our prayer. And the gift of peace comes as a sign when we have truly let go. In times of great spiritual growth, there is near constant uncertainty. So if we consider that, I would say that that would apply to everyone right now on the earth, that we're all in this stage of incredible spiritual growth, a seemingly endless process of transition, or death to what is, can be experienced if you are on an accelerated spiritual path this lifetime. And I think that many of us are. Many of us came in at this time knowing that at this period it would intensify. And believe me, I will be doing another video on the astrological aspects of what's happening when Jupiter on December 2nd moves into Capricorn. Everything's going to be very, very different. And we'll talk about that in the next video. So, it is a precious resource to be able to find a place of peace. So I ask myself, and I'd like to ask you, how often do you shut down absolutely every electronic device, turn off your phone, and really take time to walk in the nature, or to sit in absolute stillness, to light a candle, to honor the sacred soul within you, and to really allow yourself to feel the inner messages, especially in these times of acceleration. Otherwise, we're going to feel so frayed and so reaching outside of ourselves for truth, for answers, for peace from this person, from that person. And ultimately, we're going to be disappointed, because the true essence of getting those answers or feeling that ecstatic joy at a core level only comes through silence and through tender surrender and through listening to exquisite and uplifting music, or the music that makes you happy. Mother Mary comes to you through this oracle with a message to be heeded. You are either in a situation now where you feel tested and challenged and are uncertain or not that you should be worried, or you're going to have an issue that comes to a head soon, which may feel challenging to you. Do not fear, because your mighty soul and the divine angelic realms, they are with you. They're like a cloak of protection, and the eye in your heart that will show you the way through. Trust me and allow me to bring you peace. So I was thinking a lot during this period of Thanksgiving. I had a friend bring up to me the idea of Shakespeare's great quote of neither a borrower nor a lender be. And I thought, why did Shakespeare say that? Was he saying that we should never borrow, or we should never lend? And what I realized at a core level, and I discussed it briefly on my Facebook page yesterday, is that if somebody is lending you something, it's not given from a place of allowing and giving without mentioning to others, like the don't let the left hand see what the right hand is doing. It's given to you from a place of contract. And when there's a contract, if we don't honor that contract, then we are disappointing the lender. And we are also feeling guilty as the borrower, or vice versa. When we are the lender and somebody else is the borrower, we are feeling disappointed that they're not meeting our contract. So there's an essence of giving of our possessions, as Khalil Gibran said, that you give little when you give of your possessions, and it becomes aligned with possessions. And what I think we've forgotten a lot in our modern world is that giving is possible for all of us. No matter how much we have in the coffers, we always have the capacity to give. I remember when I lived in Europe and I was living with a beautiful, beautiful Palestinian man who was the most generous soul, the most Christian soul, that happened to be his alignment of spirit, that I've ever met in my entire life. That man gave away all that he had every day of his life. He had come to Switzerland. I met him in Geneva and ended up falling in love with him and living with him in Basel. He came to Switzerland from Palestine. They had wanted him to lead in Palestine, and he realized the conflicts that were going to take place in Palestine, that was not a place for him to be. He was a man of peace. So he came to Switzerland, he learned German, and he became a lawyer, a German-Swiss lawyer from Palestine while he lived in Switzerland. So his job was a lot in the financial world, in moving monies, but his real job was looking out for people who had lost everything, people that he could help. So whatever he earned, whatever was given to him, and he was given vast sums of money because he was working with very wealthy Middle Eastern banks, and movings of money, all done at the highest level of legality. And he was paid vast sums to do that. But he was not a man that valued the dollar for the sake of gathering dollars. He gathered love and he gave away. So when people would come to Switzerland needing his help, he would help them get visas. One man, after he died, and he died while I was there, we had just 1 year together, and he died very suddenly in London when we were in London together. One man that came to his funeral told me that he had come to Palestine, from Palestine to Switzerland, that Habib, which was my mate, had put him through not only medical school, not only given him a place to live, but graduate school, and he had become a very famous pediatrician, and he'd been put through 14 years of school by this beautiful soul who never mentioned it to one party. He was the essence of true giving. He gave without the right hand and the left hand meeting up and speaking to each other. When I was with him, we were in a small cafe in Basel, and he had been sent this enormous Rolex gold watch covered with rubies and diamonds. And he looked down and he goes, "What am I going to do with this thing?" And it was so beautiful that he had absolutely no attachment to anything physical. And he said to me, I really don't know where to send it, where to give it, what to do with it. And we were sitting in that little cafe. It was a tiny little Turkish cafe run by a father and mother and the daughter. And he said to them, "How are you doing? How's it going?" And they said, "Well, we're barely able to make ends meet. We have no money. We're just getting by day to day. And we're grateful for your presence here and buying our cheeses and visiting us with so much joy in your heart. And he took the man aside and he said, I want you to look at this after I go. And he put into the man's pocket this glorious Rolex watch. I'm not into all that either, so I looked at it as rather a gaudy expression of material world. And he popped it into his pocket and he said, when I leave, I want you to know this is yours and you do whatever you want with it. And he left and he never went back there again, so that they wouldn't feel the need of feeling obligated to him, that they could enjoy his gift with celebration and help their family, and it gave him so much joy. So I had the great luxury to live with this man. I was over in Europe selling an art collection of Michelangelo and Cellini small sculptures out of terracotta that Michelangelo had created before he would cut into the marble. He had these sculptures he would look at and then make sure he made the right chip into the marble. And as I was over there, I was being funded by somebody to be over there. And then I came to live with Habib when we fell in love. And Habib was helping me to find funding for this collection. But our relationship moved beyond all of that. And I said, Habib, I have no physical cash on me. I just am here to love you, but I have nothing to give you. And he took my face in his hands and he looked at me and he said, what you give me from your heart, the love. He said, I'm a 56-year-old man and I've never been in love in my life till I met you. And he said, this gift of love is the greatest gift I've ever received in an earthly realm. And I want to thank you for this year of my life. And he had known internally. I did not realize he'd had a heart problem, but he had had some serious operations in his life prior to my meeting him. And we had this year of what I would call perfection, of living with somebody that I've never met to this day, of such exalted spirit. And he had a serious heart attack in London. I called Gigi, she flew over. He was on a respirator, and he was on that for 10 days, and he didn't like it. He wasn't a man to be held alive on a respirator. He wasn't afraid to move on. He had a profound love for Christ. When he had been a young man, he had purposely learned Aramaic so that he could read the Bible slowly, and for 3 years he gave of his life to walk and sit every place that our Lord had sat, and to feel the essence of his words and his parables and his beatitudes, and he lived it. He was it. So the night before he passed, they took out his respirator, and I was sitting in the room with him, and he was able to finally speak. And he looked at me, and I looked at him. His voice was a little hoarse from having had this respirator, and he said, this has been the happiest, greatest year of my life. And I said to him, Habib, it's only beginning. We have the rest of our life together. You can get a heart transplant. Anything is possible. And he put his hand up and he stroked my face and he said, thank you. And I stayed with him, and he said, I would like to sleep now, sweetheart. You go and you rest. Always thinking beyond himself to the last breath. I went back to the hotel, and 2 hours later I received a call from the nurse that he had passed sweetly, peacefully. She said, when I went into the room, she said, I've never seen this in my life, but the entire room was sheer gold. And She said, on his face was the most beatific smile. She said, in all my years of nursing, I've never seen anything like it. So I want to give today my gratitude for having had this experience and for all the glorious experiences that have ensued from that moment of sheer bliss with someone that was pure gold. And to give the gratitude, I may look sad, but I'm not. I feel so grateful to have known and experienced this love and to have been able to bring that love and to know that he is around me, always protecting me, and helping everyone else, not just me. And I want to give thanks for all of you, all my dear friends on Facebook and on YouTube that support me as a soul. And I just want you to know how much I love you. And if I can make you feel loved or lighten your load in even the tiniest way, then I am grateful. So let's be givers and receivers of this divine love, divine mercy, and appreciation for each other, and feel the hearts of each other. And I'm grateful to say that today I will be closing off now and giving a healing to a young girl whom I've grown to love very dearly, and to send healings across the world to all of you that have requested. God be with you. Thank you. I am so grateful for your presence in my life.